Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Shireen Crawford. I'm the mayoral appointee to the CCRB and interim chair. On my left is Jonathan Darsh, executive director of the CCRB. I'd like to call our June public meeting to order and move not actually a motion, but have a moment to introduce our board members. I'm going to start in the room and then move to the screen. So the board members to my right, please introduce yourselves.
Herman Merritt, City Council designee for Brooklyn.
Good afternoon, Pat Smith, mayoral designee.
Good afternoon, I'm Joseph Puma. I go by he, him pronouns, and I'm the City Council designee from Manhattan.
Good afternoon, Rahul Agarwal, mayoral designee.
The Hogan City Council designee from the Queens.
And if we move to the screen, June, do you want to introduce yourself?
June Northern, mayoral appointee from Brooklyn. I apologize for my absence and not feeling very well.
I'm Frank Dwyer. I'm a police commissioner designee. I'm traveling.
Hi, Joe Fox, Police Commissioner designee, also traveling. My apologies. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for joining us remotely. We appreciate your presence. We don't think we have a quorum in the room though, so I'm not going to ask for any motion on our May minutes. We'll move that to our next meeting. And I'd like to just offer a few brief remarks before our meeting, recognizing we're starting a couple minutes late and there's an important event happening this evening that people will be moving off to, but thank you all for being here. And I'll just say, go Knicks. I expect that we have some Knicks fans in the room and on remotely. And I have to say, I work in Midtown, about 2 blocks from Madison Square Garden, and it's, you can feel the energy. It's a very inspiring moment for the city to see how we're coming together, supporting this team, and just a real positive moment of unity. So with that in mind, I also just want to note a couple other celebratory points this month. One being it's Pride Month, and I'm delighted by the energy that flows through New York City with regards to that this time of year in June. There's many events, commemorations, celebrations of the city and all of its diversity. And with that, I also want to acknowledge that it's Juneteenth next week, honoring African American freedom, heritage, and culture. Recognitions like these are vital ways that the many communities of our city can come together to highlight the importance of their voice and feel represented as New Yorkers. Our city's calendar is filled with days and months like these, and they all shine light on the people and cultures that make New York City special. And really that's what makes New York City New York City. While I appreciate personally these celebrations, at the same time, I believe that we shouldn't celebrate these communities or cultures and only give recognition on a day or a month or a single point in time. It's up to each of us to hold these wonderful, diverse communities in New York City, in the country, present in our lives every day. And so with that in mind, I look forward to a month not only of special recognition, but of heightened recognition. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Jonathan Darsh.
Thank you, Chair Crawford. I'm John Darsh. I use he and pronouns. I'm the Executive Director of the agency. I want to echo the Chair's thoughts and also wish everyone a happy Pride, as well as acknowledge next week is Juneteenth. This past weekend, CCRB staff on hand joined the New Queens Pride Parade, marching to promote the visibility and accomplishments of the LGBTQ community, as well as the tremendous diversity of Queens, my home borough. Our outreach team will also be attending more parades throughout the city, as well as commemorations of Juneteenth itself. I'm sure I speak for them when I say we'd be delighted to see you there too. The agency sometimes receives questions from the public or press regarding what our peace outcomes, what we refer to as dispositions, mean. I wanted to take a moment to walk through them now. Substantiated, means there is sufficient credible evidence to believe that the subject officer committed the alleged act without legal justification. Within NYPD guidelines means that the subject officer committed the alleged act, but the officer's actions were determined to be lawful. Unfounded means there is sufficient credible evidence to believe that the subject officer did not commit the alleged act. Those findings are all what we call on the merits, meaning our investigation was able to definitively determine whether or not misconduct occurred. There are other dispositions for other case outcomes, such as unable to determine. There is insufficient evidence to determine whether misconduct occurred. Or officer unidentified, when the agency is unable to identify the officers who committed the alleged misconduct. A case may also be closed as unable to investigate for a number of reasons, including difficulty in reaching the complainant. I hope this clarifies the results of our investigations. You can learn more about this and the whole CCRB investigative process on our website, nyc.gov/CCRB. As a reminder, our office is open for walk-in complaints, but it is also possible to file complaints online at nyc.gov/CCRB complaint, by telephone at 1-800-341-2272, by dialing 311, or by tagging the agency on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For those wishing to speak during the public comment section of today's meeting, we ask that you keep your questions and comments to 4 minutes. If anyone wishes to file a complaint right now, we have 2 investigators on hand ready to take any new complaints. The investigators on call this afternoon are Emma Steinahar and Rob Ryan. Brenia Feliciano is also here from the Civilian Assistance Unit. Thank you all for your presence here or online today, and we'll move on now to the board's formal business. She's here. Yes.
Okay, we just have a board member who joined us. I'll ask to introduce himself.
Good afternoon, John Stiegel, apologize for my shortness.
So we're going to move to a presentation now from Marwa Niji, the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, for an overview of the CCRB.
Is that call? Wait a minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marwa, and I'm Director of Governmental Affairs here at the CCRB, and I'm going to give a brief presentation. The CCRB, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, is the nation's largest independent oversight entity of the largest police force in the country. The CCRB investigates, mediates, and prosecutes allegations of misconduct against members of the NYPD. The agency is governed by a 15-member board with 5 seats appointed by the mayor, 5 appointed by the New York City Council, 3 designated by the police commissioner, 1 appointed by the public advocate, and the chair is appointed jointly by the mayor and the city council. The CCRB investigates abuses of force, authority, discourtesy, and offensive language. To report police misconduct, you can file a complaint online at nyc.gov/CCRB, or you can call the CCRB at 1-800-341-CCRB. Remember, if you see footage of misconduct on social media or in the news, you can file a complaint even if you weren't there in person. Some more ways to file a complaint is you can visit us at our office at 100 Church Street on the 10th floor, New York, 10007. You can DM us on social media, mail a complaint to our office, or you can file a complaint at a local precinct. The NYPD is required to accept CCRB complaints at any precinct or you can request the complaint form and postage fee envelope as the receipt. The CCRB is hiring. If you're interested in working with us, check out our open positions by searching for CCRB at nyc.gov/jobs. Alternatively, if you don't see a role posted, you are encouraged to submit your cover letter and resume via email to careers@ccrb.nyc.gov for future interest. The 2 jobs we're currently hiring for is Investigator Level 1 and Outreach Coordinator. If you'd like to request an a CCRB presentation, please reach out to us at outreach@ccrb.nyc.gov, and please follow us on social media. We are on Instagram and Twitter under the same username @CCRB_NYC, and we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/CCRB.NYC.
Do board members have any questions? And I'll just back up a little also to see if board members have any questions for the executive director regarding his remarks. So we'll move to the public comment portion of the meeting. We will begin with those joining us virtually who would like to make a comment, followed by those who are here in person in the room. For those joining virtually, as mentioned, please raise your hand, the raise your hand function. Please keep your comments to 4 minutes. And I will give it a second for Jihad to see if there are any raised hands.
Thank you, Chair. I do not see any hands raised now. There's a hand that keeps going up and dropping down. I'll bear with me for one moment. All right, so we have Medhan Rahman. Can we elevate to that? You're unmuted, sir. You're unmuted if you'd like to start. And we can start the timer. Okay, there may be some technical difficulties. They are unmuted. I don't seem to be responding yet.
Why don't we move on?
Yes, that mic's on there and this doesn't seem to be working. So we can move on to, there was a hand raised, but it went back down. So there's no hands currently raised.
So, if the person who's having trouble with their microphone, is there a function they can type their question?
As long as they are a panelist, they'll be able to type their question. And if they're currently their panel.
So maybe we'll move to the room and see if there's another way that they can either address the issue with the microphone or share the question with us another way.
Thank you, Roger. There are no other hands. Okay, they did type the question. They did type the question. Go ahead and read it out.
Sure, thank you.
That's no problem. I wanted to ask about case closures, a total full number of investigations released for the monthly report. I noticed that there have been more complaints so far this year than there were in the last year. 233 fewer investigations. So I wanted to know if there was a reason for that besides general fluctuation. Also, the substantiation rate for the month was the lowest that it's been for the year, and half so similarly, I wanted to know if there was an explanation for this month beyond general variance month to month.
So while we monitor the trends, month to month, there is a substantial amount of churn just from scheduling differences. So there's nothing unusual about this month that we can see on its face, but we will keep monitoring the trend so that if there is something to report, we will do so. For a vote.
Okay, this is the speaker said thank you.
Thank you. Any other virtual comments?
Currently, there are no other hands raised. We can close the virtual vote.
Thank you. So we'll move to in-person comments in the room and ask folks to line up at the podium. Please use your microphone and remind you to keep your comments to 4 minutes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Pride Month. Happy Juneteenth next week. Andrew Case, Latino Justice Pearl Death. Just a few things. The first part of Mayor's question I want to bring up again, which is the increase in complaints rather than the fluctuation in substantiation rates. I saw complaints did go up in May. They always go up over the summer. It usually is a July, August increase. It seems to be increasing a little sooner this year. It's budget season. The NYPD went to City Council and asked for funding for 500 more cops a couple of weeks ago. Your funding is supposed to be pegged to the NYPD's. Are you getting enough investigators? Do you have enough resources to investigate the cases that are coming in what seems to be an increase in caseload? I noticed that in the docket, there's a large part of the docket that is pending board review. I see you're doing very well, I think, with investigating cases, doing very well with obtaining body-worn camera footage, but there still are a lot of cases pending board review, and that's when cases age without any new investigative steps being taken because board meetings are getting scheduled and people are reviewing. And as you know, Justice has said previously, there is no mandate that every case be reviewed by the full board. You could have rules to allow at least these cases that are unable to investigate or so on to be passed through the system quickly and allow your time to be spent on cases that are on the merits. And the final thing I want to mention is I saw one side thing with the body-worn camera footage. It's great that you're getting it. I see that the substantiation rate is 38%, historically high, maybe lower than other times this year, but historically high. But the number I keep seeing is 0% without body-worn camera footage. And the body-worn camera footage seems to have come to a place where when there's no body-worn camera footage, when there's two people telling stories and no audio for the video, like the one case in your examples here, then there's just a willingness to simply say unable to determine. And we didn't always have body-worn camera footage. We had to make rulings on credibility. You can still do that if you have no body-worn camera footage. Preponderance of the evidence can be met. Either side, substantiated, exonerated, unfounded. You can make a finding on the merits by making a ruling on people's credibility. Then the real final thing, bias-based policing. I see you have substantiated 3 racial profiling allegations against officers in the 33rd precinct, no surprise. Really want to be watching those closely, see as those go through the administrative prosecution unit. I know there have been some hiccups with the unit getting up and running. This is a major component of the monitorship and compliance, was having these investigations moved from the NYPD to the CCRB. Really excited to see you guys doing the great work that you do on them and want to see those pursued and completed at administrative trial or other avenue. All right, thank you all.
Madam Chair, Mr. Case, if you want to see more cases going to panel, please urge the City Council to make appointments. The City Council has been lacking 2 appointments for more than a year. The Bronx appointment, I think it's going on 4 years now, that the Bronx has not had a representative. So if it's important to them, tell them to make the appointment. Staten Island, there is no representative for Staten Island. The public advocate was advised by our very dedicated friend more than a year ago that she was going to leave at the end of the year. Had a lot of time to groom and prepare a replacement, and here we are in May, and we don't have a public advocate. So the elected official should be doing their job and making appointments. That would give us a whole extra panel
I agree.
We will get to those cases. Thank you.
I agree.
Yeah, I just addressed two of Mr. Casey's points. The first was a question about the budget. The mayor's proposed executive budget would increase the CCRB's headcount as well as give the agency additional funding that would enable us to actually hire folks to get to that increased headcount. And so while that is only 8 staff, it is functionally an increase of 20 people. And we are hopeful that if that budget is enacted and that we will be able to hire those folks, and then once we have hired them, we can cease our strategic resource allocation determination, which is a policy by which we close certain allegation types without any investigation at all. With regard to the substantiation rate with video, I just want to point out that there was, so far this year, there have only been 2 cases closed without video. And I think that speaks to you know what, now I'm looking, I think it is potentially 4. So like 4 cases and having no subs doesn't mean that we have a blanket policy. We clearly do address and make determinations on the merits when we have cases that don't have video, but it is a testament to how there has been this huge expansion of body-worn camera footage that there are so few cases getting closed without body-worn camera.
Thank you.
Next.
You're next.
Good evening, board. Start recording first. Good evening, board members and members of the public. Executive Director, on the last board meeting, you stated... I'm sorry? Oh, hi, my name is Juan Romero. How are you? Executive Director. At the last board meeting, you stated that the decision in question regarding Mr. Khan's exclusion from attending the public board meetings was made by you, and that it would not be appropriate to discuss it further due to my association with Mr. Khan's. Given that Mr. Khan's has met with you on 3 separate occasions in private, and has made allegations against you, do you believe that it's appropriate for you to be the sole decision maker in this matter? Excuse me. I'm asking for clarity on whether you view that level of involvement is appropriate under these circumstances, sir.
So, just to clarify, I thought it was inappropriate for me to comment on the case because you are not the person in question. Second of all, the person in question can join this meeting and ask whatever questions they want online. And third of all, I do believe it's appropriate for me to make that decision.
But isn't that a conflict of interest, seeing as you're the executive director?
I don't believe so, sir.
Excuse me, respectfully, you don't believe so, but I'm pretty sure that not everyone feels the same way.
I feel you asked your question, it was answered. I don't want to get into a debate here. If there's further discussion, we can do it outside of the
2 more things. Board members, Mr. Khan will be outside after the meeting is over to speak with you, should you choose to do so. Mr. Hogan, thank you for taking the time to come out and speak with Mr. Khan, for being willing to engage with him directly. That level of engagement is very much appreciated. All right. The follow-up is for the interim chair. I respectfully submit a letter for entry into the official meeting record, if you would allow me, to hand you a letter, or can give it to someone to you, whatever you would like.
If you give the letter to DeAndre,
okay, no problem, I will. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm Michael Myers, I'm the president of the Civil Rights Coalition.
Thank you. Number one, the public meeting, I really am confused. This is the second or third time the Representative Hans has been here to ask a question about the exclusion of his member from a public meeting. I don't understand, for myself, in terms of the explanation, I don't understand the explanation too. Why is a member of the public not invited to speak and to hear the CCRB members at a public meeting? I don't understand. I don't think it's the prerogative of the executive director, or for that matter, and to the chair, to exclude anybody from the public. Now, if there's a reason for it, a legal reason, and I thought, as I remember, the person had gone to court and gotten a court order to come to meetings.
Which there is none.
So I have to also ask the question, what the hell is going on here? Now, I hope that the interim chair or the executive director can address that. I think a public meeting is a public meeting. People who are members of the public have a right to be here, to listen and to argue and as they advocate for their position to this board. Now, in terms of the vacancies, and again, I repeat what I said before, where is the Bronx representative? Somebody said he's been absent for at least 4 years. Where's the Staten Island representative? Where's the public advocate's appointment? Replacing Eldorado Simmons on this board. Why are people taking so damn long to make an appointment? I don't understand this. Nobody has offered an explanation. So, now I have written to the mayor, I've written to the public police commissioner, I've written to the public advocate, and they all give excuses and alibis. And I don't accept them. I think it's a rationalization. It's absolutely unacceptable that a mayoral agency that is supposed to be investigating police misconduct, allegations thereof, can't get a quorum of its members to a meeting. This is outrageous. So let's repeat again. Today, you don't have a quorum of members to even take the record, to publish the record, to approve the record of your meetings. This is outrageous. And I don't hear anybody on the board saying, let's do something about that. Let's do something about that. Now, I respect the people who are now absent. June, Mr. Fox, I love them. But I need them here. I need them here. I need the representative of Staten Island here. I need the representative of the Bronx here. I need the public advocate person here. And if they don't have them here, why not? Why can't they make an appointment? I don't understand it. I've already spoken with the deputy mayor. Promises. We don't want that. We're going to appoint a chair. But we have an interim chair still. They haven't appointed a chair. We still got an interim chair. What's going on here? Why don't they have respect for the public? Why don't they have respect for the law which is passed to make sure this body is responsible and accountable? So I have to say to you again, one more time, I want to know why any member of the public cannot come to a meeting of the CCRB. And I'm tired of hearing excuses, I'm tired of hearing alibis, and I, as a member of the public, I'm waiting for myself to be excluded. Because I'm going to be dissented. I'm going to advocate for the public. And I don't care who resents it, who takes exception to it. And you guys and women have got to take exception when members of the public who want to come to a meeting can't come to the meeting, can't speak at a meeting, or barred from a meeting for whatever reasons, especially the people downstairs, the staff and employees of this agency, of this building agency. I'm very upset. So, Madam Chair, would you respond to those questions?
I'm happy to. I think the executive director, both and I probably have some responses.
So again, with regard to the person who can't come to the meeting, there are reasons that the agency made its decision. He can join the meeting and share those reasons online, but I'm not going to. I don't think it's appropriate for me to embarrass that person by discussing why they're not. But they clearly know how to use the internet to log in. And if they wanted to, they could sit here and they could sit online and participate. There's no bar on them participating. And then with regard to the only thing I want to clarify with regard to your statements, I know you know this, but I just want to make clear that the seats from the public advocate, the city council appointees for the Bronx, and the city council appointee for Staten Island are vacant. It's not that their members were appointed and not coming, because there is a difference between the two. And people who used to have those spots, I want to make clear that they stepped down from the board, and so they are not being delinquent by not being.
But they haven't really replaced.
But that's not on them, is all I wanted to say.
Yeah, but it's only appointing authority.
Yes.
And the public advocate who has not filled the position. And the mayor and the city council speaker who have not made a permanent appointment of the chair. Not that I disagree with this chair. I like him. You know, I want you to stay on. But make an appointment. Make an appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. And I want to reiterate Mr. Darsh's point that this, one, I think it's a very serious decision to exclude someone from a public meeting. I think it's taken very seriously. I support the executive director's decision, and I think that it's not taken lightly, and there is the option to participate, to contribute, and to listen to the full meeting virtually online. So I want to just name that. And then with regards to appointments, I hear you. I hear you every time you raise it. I think it's an important point. It is something as interim chair I have voiced, and I think that the powers that be are aware, and unfortunately, we as board members don't have control over those appointments. So we will continue to make it known that it is really valuable that there's a permanent chair and that all the seats are filled on this board. Any other comments?
Can Wes pick up the mic, guys? Is that okay?
Yes.
You just need to hold it closer to you.
My name is Wes Mahoney. I'm with the New York City Police Union. I had a brief question about the ratio of applications to complaints received this year. It seems like the total number of complaints received has stayed relatively constant from last year to this year at around 2,300. However, the corresponding number of allegations has dropped from 9,258 last year to around 8,000 this year. I was hoping you might provide some brief context on the driving that change in this year.
So I appreciate the question. It's something we will look into, and I'll see if we can get an answer for you for next month's meeting.
Any other comments?
Madam Chair, we had a quorum. I would make a motion. The board has full confidence in our executive director and how he's been handling this matter of the person not coming to the meeting. I support him.
All right, so with that, I'll close the public comment section and ask if we have any old business to come before the board. Hearing none, I'll ask if we have any new business to come before the board. No new business. I am going to now have us adjourn to executive session, and we will we'll be discussing the following as the agenda of the executive session. Is the board will consider one full board case. The executive director will discuss pending personnel issues and actions, and the general counsel will provide updates regarding pending litigation. Is there a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Second.
Do I have a second? This meeting is now adjourned to executive session. Thank you all. Have fun watching the tape.